Hey yo, what is good, YouTube? It's your boy Meso, and we're back. We're back with another haircut tutorial. I know it's been a minute, but look, I'm back and I'm ready to go. So right now we're doing a high temp fade with a curly curl sponge top. So right now I'm setting in my first guideline with my Andis GTX EXO cordless trimmers. And we're ready to go. We're just setting in that line, just making sure we're at the beginning of the C cup, at the bottom of the vertical bar, and in the back taper we're setting up. It's not really a high taper in the back, it's kind of like a mid taper, but you know what I'm saying, it all depends on how the head shape is. So his occipital bone is a little bit lower, so I'm not going to take the line that, you know what I'm saying, the guideline that high. And so this is one of my favorite haircuts to do. I don't know if you all know it, but this is like, I have about 5 videos on YouTube just doing this haircut alone, and you all seem to like it, so why not just put out another one? So right now I'm coming in with my wall seniors fully open, going up a complete inch, and then I close my lever 3/4 of the way, then I close it 2/4, then 1/4, and then we're fully closed and we're just fading out that line. All barbering is just following a bunch of steps. If you want to keep it step oriented and just following that and just doing that. So right now I have my number 2 guard on. I'm just creating a good shape and a good foundation for me to start fading. Right now I'm just debulking the area so I can have a clean canvas to cut on. So right now I have my number 1.5 guard on, and I'm going up and I'm just flicking out, just going up right underneath that number 2, and I'm just going up and flicking out, just making sure everything is, everything's good to go. Now I'm actually starting my fading process. Now I have my number 1 guard on, going up a complete inch, and then I'm just going halfway, and then I'm going to go fully closed right on that line that I set, and that's just going to fade it out. And right now what you see, the technique, that's called a bear claw. It's like the bear claw technique. So you just flip your clipper around and you just kind of smoothing everything out, making sure everything is smooth. So right now I switched to my 1/16 blade, guard, my bad, which is the number 0 guard in the Andis community. And I just go fully open, then halfway, then fully closed. And I'm really using my corners a lot because I want to make sure that I don't set in any other lines, but I just want to take out the lines. I don't want to set in lines, I want to make sure I'm taking them out. So that's all I'm really doing. And as you can see, it's still a little line left, so I just come in with my lever fully open and I'm debulking. And this is the exact same steps that I use on the whole haircut. So I'm going to zoom past a lot of time and cut out a lot of time and just let you all watch. And it's going to be really fast, so if you miss anything, just rewind it a little bit further back, and it's the exact same steps. I'm going with my lever fully open, number 2, number 1.5, number 1, then number 0, and that's it. Alright, so now YouTube, we're coming to one of my favorite parts of the haircut, which is the neckline up. This is one of my favorite parts because it sets the haircut apart so much, and it adds so much detail and so much pop to the haircut. So right now I'm coming in with my Andis TR liners, and I'm just setting in that, not even setting in the line, just honestly just following the natural line and just shaping it up. I just like a sharp neckline up. That's just me personally. That's what makes the haircut go from like a 8 to like a 10. And it's really important. Like, you have to do this, you know what I'm saying, on every haircut. And it's a science to it. Like, you don't need the sharpest clippers to do a neckline up. You could do them with, honestly, clippers that's not 0 gap. It's just about how you position the clipper and cut. But you don't want to make your client's neck red. You don't want to scar them. That's one thing I see a lot when I have clients that come to me from different barbers, and they scar, the other barbers scar the client's neck up because they're using like the sharpest trimmers, you know what I'm saying, just to do a neckline, and then they're going over it a bunch of times. So you want to make sure that whatever you're doing when you cut a hair, you want to make sure that you're trying to be as precise as possible, so you don't irritate the skin, so you don't leave a scar. Because scars like that, you don't see them when you first cut it. You see them later on, 2 weeks later, because you didn't know that you cut them. Because, you know what I'm saying, it's just one of them things, you just moving. The neck might get a little red. The client's neck might get red, but you don't know that you scar, you know what I'm saying, that you cut them or you scarred them. So that's just one thing to look out for. As you see, I only went over the line but a couple times, like just one time, just going back over the line and, you know, kind of perfecting it. So just make sure that whenever you're doing a shape up or anything, whenever you're using anything sharp on anybody's head, you want to make sure that you're using it for a short amount of time. You don't want to irritate the skin. You want to make sure that you're being real gentle, and that every time you put the trimmer on somebody's skin, you want to make sure that's for a good reason. You don't just want to be wasting time going over irritating the skin. So right now I'm prepping the hairline. I'm going in with my number 2 guard, fully closed, and I'm just laying down any hair that might be standing over the hairline. And I want to make sure that this hairline comes out sharp, so I just want to clean up the whole area before I start cutting. So right now I'm coming in with my Andis TL liners. These are not the sharpest trimmers I have, but they're sharp enough to put in a good first shape up line, so that they don't, you know, red the client up or anything like that. And I'm just gonna come back and just shape them up with a sharper trimmer. When I shape up personally, I like to start off in the middle of the client's forehead, and I like to work to the side that's closest to me, because I get a good angle where I'm standing at. I don't have to stand right directly in front of the client because I'm in front of the mirror. So the mirror does not lie. Your eyes will deceive you. The mirror does not lie. The mirror is straight up and down. It's on the wall. Hopefully it's level. You know what I'm saying? So the mirror is not going to lie. It's going to show you exactly what anybody in the street will see. Everybody will see. So as you can see, I'm just going in, shaping up the line, making sure on the vertical bars I have a 90-degree angle, because that's extremely important to have. If you don't have a 90-degree angle on your vertical bars, it's going to look like this shape up is going backwards on the side of the head. On the vertical bars, it's going to look like this shape up is going in, and you don't want to make it look like it's going in. You want to make it look like it's coming out, so it can look a little bit sharp. And I'm doing the same thing for the next side. I just position my body to the other side of the head, and I turn the chair a little bit so I can kind of stand right in front of them, so I can see exactly the point where I pointed at, where I put the trimmers at in the other corner, so I could just match them. That's all I'm trying to do. Once you get one side, all you have to do on the other side is match. That's it. Just match them, and that's all it is. If the person's face is symmetrical to a point, all you have to do is match one side to the other, and that's how you get a straight line. Sometimes clients' heads is not symmetrical. Sometimes they're lopsided. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things. You just have to learn how to work with that and how to finesse a line up. You know what I'm saying? And that's just something that you learn over time. But if you have a client that has a pretty symmetrical face, you know what I'm saying, like the symmetry in their face is pretty symmetrical, all you have to do is match one side with the other. So that's in terms of like where your line ends, like where you shape them up in the corner, where you did your vertical bars, all that. All you have to do is match it. Just look at it and match it. That's it, and it'll be a straight line. So right now we're just taking down his beard. This is something that he likes to do. Personally, if I had a beard like that, personally, I keep it growing, but I understand why he does it. It's hot outside. You know what I'm saying? It's a little too hot just to be rocking a beard out and all that stuff. And so when I'm fading out the beard and creating, like, you know, just fading out that line, just making the beard, like fading out the beard to the skin. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same exact steps that I use on the taper. I just go in with my number 1. Sometimes it depends on how long the beard is. I might use a bigger guard, but generally I like to use a number 1, and I'm not really flush to the skin. I'm kind of finessing it. I just use a number 1, and I go number 1 open, number 1 closed, number 0 guard, 1/16, open, close, and I just go on my lever fully open and just fade out the line. That's it. It's real simple. It's easier to fade out the beard line, but it's also very easy to take down the beard line a little bit too far. So you want to make sure, I like to fade up instead of fading down when I'm doing the beard line. I mean, just fading out the beard. And as you can see, once you start fading out other parts, it's a weird thing, but the contrast of the hair will change a little bit, so you can see more lines and more effects in your fade. So you want to make sure that you're coming back using different techniques like clip over comb, just, you know, using the corners of your blade, using a lot of freehand just to really finesse instead of having to go back and picking up guards and wasting time. So yeah, so right now I'm just shaping up the beard on the jawline. I'm making sure that I'm making the beard come out. I don't want to push the beard line in. I personally don't like a straight up and down beard line on the jawline. I personally don't like it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just not a thing I like. I like the beard to look full. So right now I'm just using my trimmers. I'm putting in a very, very, very light line. It's not going to be really straight because I'm just going to come back in with my razor and really finish it. So I'm just being as gentle as I can be because this is the face. Like, your face is really sensitive to like sharp items. So you don't want to put the razor on the client's face too much. You can get razor burn, especially if you don't use any gel or anything like that. You don't want to put the trimmers and dig into the client's face. You know, it's just consultation. Like, when you look at the client, you'll be able to see what type of skin they have, what skin type they have. If they get irritated really quickly, you know what I'm saying, if it takes them a while to get irritated, or if they get cut, you know what I'm saying, you'll be able to just to tell. As you're cutting the client's hair, you'll be able to tell. So right now I'm just taking down the beard. One technique I learned from Vic Blends is when you're taking down the beard, you want to make sure where you're going to put your line at is a little bit, the length is a little bit shorter. So it's the same technique as taking the front hairline down just a little bit so that the hair can lay down. So when you're shaping up a beard, you don't want the longest hairs to be where you're going to put the line at. So you want to make sure that you take it down a little bit. Use like a guard smaller, or you can just use your lever fully open and freehand it just to take it down just a little bit. And that's a good technique because it puts more emphasis on the actual beard line instead of just shaping up the hair that's going to be moving around and doing whatever. You want to make sure that your haircut lasts. Like, I cut his hair, I'm not going to see him for another 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Because he doesn't need another haircut really for another 3 weeks, because the haircut is going to last that whole 2 weeks, and then he might just do a week of woofing. But you want to make sure that your clients is getting their money worth. All that good stuff, man. If you're going to use enhancements, make sure that the line is sharp before you put the enhancements on there, and you'll be good to go. So right now I'm just doing some razor work. I'm coming in with my feather razor holder. Personally, this is my favorite razor that I've ever used. I'm not a big fan of the actual blades that come with the razor. It's really not that sharp to me. But I like to use my Dorco blades. You can snap them in half and just put them on there. And I'm able to reach like all parts of the face, all parts of the hair, everything. Like when I'm using the butterfly, I forgot what it's actually called, but the one, you know the regular standard razor blade, it's kind of hard to move around the head and the shape up and all that stuff, because the tang, I think the end of the razor blade is called the tang. So the end of the razor holder is called the tang. So it's a little harder to move around because of the tang of the, when you're hitting the mustache with the razor, it's a lot easier when it's no handle on the razor. So right now I'm doing a neckline. I'm just making sure to keep it, as sharp as I could get it without taking the neckline too high up. It's right above the Adam's apple, so it's like a perfect spot. So right now I'm coming back in with a sharper trimmer that I have, and just making sure I'm just adding my finishing touches. And be honest with you, really this haircut is done. It's just a bunch of touching up and just detail work. And he's ready to go out the door. I'm just making sure I'm attacking all the small details that I see that stand out. My client does have a little dry spot on the taper, so you can see it. It is faded out, but you wouldn't be able to tell really because of the dry spot. So clients have responsibilities too. In between haircuts, they have to make sure they wash their hair, moisturize their hair, take good care of their hair, using good products in their hair that won't dry out the scalp. So all that stuff is important. So as barbers, we have to educate. Like, I have to do a better job of educating him on how to take care of his hair. So it's all stuff we have to do. But really, this is the haircut. If you like it, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'm gone. I'll see y'all. Peace.